Welcome back. It's time for the Q&A segment of our show, and obviously we're talking about the ice storm here. So Chief Meteorologist Matt Zaffino joins us from the Weather Center. And Matt, we do have a question that came in from a viewer named Sarah. She wants to know, hi Matt, when do you think the ice will start thawing in Portland tomorrow? Could I expect to drive tomorrow afternoon? Great question.
It is a great question, Pat, and it's one that I'm getting a lot. And the answer is not tomorrow.
Darn.
I think it's going to be Saturday for Portland. Now, as you head south down the Willamette Valley, it'll begin to thaw out sooner as they warm above freezing sooner than we will. But as you head east into the gorge, it may not thaw until Monday. So in Portland, I think it's going to be Saturday, probably Saturday afternoon, before we really begin to thaw out. And I want to point out what I'm standing in front of here. This is our Wells Fargo Skycam. I've zoomed in on some of the apparatus on the top of the building. Those are icicles hanging off of the structure here that supports the light. You can see occasionally some sleet going on by. You can see that these beams are getting coated in ice already. So it is happening. And we just heard from Catherine Cook, Pat, saying that she's down in Wilsonville, saying it's an ice rink down there.
Oh boy, time to put chains on my car before I go home, I think.
Exactly.
So Sarah, that's not the answer you wanted, but that is a good, clear answer. Catherine wants to know, I have a bag of de-icer and a very steep driveway. When should I apply the de-icer? Before, during, or after?
See Pat's story about de-icing airplanes, right? You know what? You probably want to do it now. You want to do it before if it's de-icing agent to help keep the ice from forming. Once the ice gets a foothill and starts getting thick, I don't know if the de-icer is going to do enough to bring it down to just, bare driveway, if you will. So yeah, I would get on that sooner rather than later. And again, it may not matter if we get enough ice. The de-icer is probably going to be overwhelmed anyway.
Good, just get sort of washed off. Yeah. All right, thanks, Matt. And Margaret asked, what's the difference between sleet and freezing rain?
Great question. Freezing rain falls as liquid. It comes down, it hits you or your driveway or your car as liquid water, as rain. The problem is that's water that is falling into air that is below freezing. So once it stops falling and reaches the ground or your car or whatever, it freezes and it coats everything as ice. Sleet is already ice as it's falling. So it's raindrops that refreeze as they're falling. And so when they reach the ground, they're actually little ice pellets, and that's largely what we're seeing in the Portland area right now. So if you can hear it and it sounds like ice, that's sleet. If it's coming down as a liquid and then coating everything with ice, that's freezing rain.
Great explanation. All right, we've got some video from outside the station that has just come into us, and this is sleet that is falling in southwest Portland right now. So I know it's in a number of your communities. You're seeing it outside, and just want to let you know, so are we. We also asked for you to call in with your questions. We don't have the person's name, but we do have a voicemail question for you, Matt. Here we go.
So, sleet, freezing rain, is it going to glaze at a half an inch, a quarter of an inch, 1/10 of an inch? I think I heard 1/10 of an inch. Does that mean everything's glazed over only 1/10 of an inch, or question mark, more? I'm hoping for snow. Thank you.
We're all hoping for snow, but we're expecting ice. What do you think, Matt? How much?
You took the words right out of my mouth. We are all hoping for snow, but that's just not the case that we're in. In fact, when we look at Doppler radar, what you see here is a lot of purple, and that's mainly the sleet that's moving up into the Portland area. So as far as the amounts go, it's going to be a range. It won't be uniform across the Portland area. Some places will get as little as 1/10 of an inch. Other parts of the Portland area will see as much as 4/10 of an inch. I know that's a big difference, but 1/10 of an inch is enough to make things slippery. And sleet is better than freezing rain, as we explained yesterday, because with the freezing rain, it just creates a coating of ice on everything. The sleet, it's not snow. You can't brush it away like snow, but you can move it a little bit better. The problem with sleet is, as it begins to accumulate, cars drive over it, then it compacts into just glazed ice. That's what we're seeing down in Wilsonville right now already. And as temperatures begin to warm a little bit, not above freezing, but closer to freezing, that sleet will naturally begin to congeal into a solid layer of ice. So there is a difference between sleet and freezing rain and its impact once it falls. And as far as the amounts go, Pat, again, I think for the Portland area, somewhere between 1/10 of an inch and 4/10 of an inch before we begin to warm up and melt out on Saturday.
I feel like all answers start somewhere else and come back to it's going to be ice and it's going to be slippery.
That is the bottom line, for sure.
All right.